Welcome to The Adaptable Octopus, a podcast hosted by Blair Riggs. Through honest and heartfelt storytelling, Blair shares her experiences navigating life with cerebral palsy. Each episode explores how she's adapted to challenges, found strength in vulnerability, and embraced her unique path. Her journey is a reminder that resilience and creativity can help us overcome even the toughest obstacles. Follow along to hear Blair's insights, connect with her story, and join a community that celebrates growth and adaptability. Subscribe now to be part of the conversation.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of the Adaptable Octopus. As many of you know, I did not learn about cerebral palsy or even be comfortable with cerebral palsy into my 40s. And as a child and a young adult, I would notice I would get major cramps in the back of my calves and just all over my body. And I went to the doctor, and the doctor said, to always have a paper bag, like the kinds that you pack your lunches in, or you used to. I don't know what you do anymore, but when I was growing up, that's what we carried our lunches in. And I would breathe into this bag, and then my pain would go away. On today's episode, we have a special guest. She's a fellow podcaster, and her name is Amanda Russo. So welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Blair. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. So I'm gonna just brag on you for a little bit. You have recently went to Bali for how long? Almost 2 months.
Yep.
And what she was doing in Bali is so amazing. And I just realized by watching you and just listening to you how important breathing truly is. By breathing, it just relaxes your body. It reduces stress. What else can you tell me about breathing?
Like breathing in general?
Yes.
Well, we need to breathe to live, and a lot of people aren't even breathing correctly. And people look at me like I'm insane when I say that we're not breathing correctly. But if you look at a baby or a fish or a dog breathe, they breathe differently than most humans. Like, you'll notice that they breathe and their bellies come up. Whereas so many adult humans, when we take a deep breath in, like, our shoulders are raising, our chest is raising, but it shouldn't. Our bellies should be raising before our chests raise. And so many people don't, because just society and the world, and we've gotten so caught up in stress. But that's another big thing that breathwork has helped me and a lot of people I know with, is breathing correctly. And so many people are like, I know how to breathe. And it's funny because, like, I used to think that myself before I ever tried breathwork, and then I was like, I'm not breathing the right way, not fully.
Mm-hmm. It's really an odd thing to think about, just breathing. Like, everybody just does it naturally and nobody really thinks about it. But breathing is powerful. Can you tell my audience or the people listening what kind of classes and how you can help people with breathing techniques and styles?
Yeah, so there's so many different options for breathing to help you with stress relief, with calming down, with being more present, being more aware. Something super, super simple I like to tell people, and I like to always even mention on a podcast, even if you aren't someone who is ever going to take a breathwork class, you don't really meditate, you're not in that realm per se of life, this such a simple thing that you can do basically anywhere to reduce your stress, calm down quickly. It's just letting out a sigh, letting
Mhm.
out the basic sigh. Like, and you can realistically do that almost anywhere and just drop the shoulders, unclench your jaw, and you feel a little lighter.
Yeah,
Do you, Blair?
I just did. Did you see me do it?
I did it too, so like I'll get into my class offerings, but like even if you are driving down the street and you're like in traffic and you're frustrated and you're stressed, like just let out the sigh.
Mhm.
If you're at work and you don't want your boss to see you, let out the sigh. Use the bathroom really quick and let out that sigh, even if you don't pee. Like
Mhm.
you feel a little lighter, you feel a little more present.
And as a mom, when my kids are worked up or upset or whatever the situation may be, I tell them to breathe or count to 10 or just take a minute. It's hard as an adult just to do that for yourself. One thing I admire about you is you listen to your body. I know there's one post that you made. If I hadn't mentioned, she's also a podcaster, and I find it to be amazing. So we'll link her podcast in the description. And what's Manders? What's the name of your podcast?
Mandu's mindset. I also have a
Manders
second
Mind.
podcast
Okay.
where I talk mainly about breathwork and a little bit of mindfulness. That's called
Yeah,
Breathwork Magic.
I love that. See, I've never checked that out, but I am definitely going to. But my dog makes an appearance on every podcast. Um, But you listen to your body, and you're not afraid to say, "Hey, this is what I need. This is, you know, you're so good about that, and I admire you for that." What? How did you come up with that mindset of like, I need to take care of myself?
I like this question, Blair. How did I come? I like this question. It's interesting. And I say it's interesting because, a lot of people meeting me, whether it's in person or virtually, like now in 2025, are like, you have this healthy, fit girl, like, whatever you want to word it, like, mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of do, but not, I want to say even 6, 7 years ago, like 2019, I didn't have this mindset at all. I was pretty overweight. I didn't work out. I didn't go to the gym. I didn't care about moving my body. I didn't really care about myself per se,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, it was a small shift, but it was a small shift I had walking up. I lived on the third floor, excuse me, of an attic apartment, and I'll never forget it. It's like the simplest thing, but I had nothing in my hands and I was out of breath. And I was like, why am I out of breath? And I was just like, I was pissed. I was like pissed, and I'll never forget it. And I'm like, this is not how I'm gonna live my life. And
Mm-hmm.
I I also knew, like, I had tried on and off for years to lose weight and lose a couple pounds, nothing sticked. But the biggest thing was I didn't change the identity. I was just like, I'm going to stop eating this. I'm going to stop this. And then the diet, quote unquote, per se, wore off. And it's like, okay, now what? And so I'll never forget that night. I was like, no, something's got to give. And I had done a little bit of research and I found this woman. Her name was Rachel Hollis. And she's like a motivational speaker, author. She's kind of famous. Some people like her, some people don't. But she has this program that I think was exceptional and really was a catalyst for my mindset shifts. But she's got something called the last 90 days, where the last 3 months of the year, you do these 5 things to help you grow in life.
Mm.
And one of them was moving your body for 30 minutes a day. And I was like, I can do that. Even though I'm like super overweight, I like don't move at all. I can move for 30 minutes a day. That's easy. So it started super simple. It was just I would walk around the block for 30 minutes. And after a couple weeks, I was like, I feel like I kind of want to go to the gym. I've never been to a gym in my life, but now I want something more than just walking for 30 minutes or these like jumping jacks that I'm doing in my apartment because my apartment was not that big. So I'm like, okay. And then it was coincidental. I had actually, years back, I won a 6-month gym membership and I never went. I never went for 6 months of a free membership. I didn't use it once. Well, right around this same timing, I got an email from the gym, Anytime Fitness, being like, hey, we'll give you 2 free weeks if you want to come back. I'm like, come back? I've never came. Sure, I'll try 2 free weeks. Let's see what happens. And I'll never forget, I went to get the fob so I could like sign into the gym, and I saw some group class being done, and I was like, I want to do that. I'm big on community. I didn't even know what it was. It was like this group HIIT workout. They had team classes, but I remember the owner showing me around the gym, and I was like, I want to do whatever that is. And he's like, that's a separate fee. I'm like, I don't care that that's a separate fee. I want to do whatever that is. And I fell in love with it. I fell in love with the community aspect of it. And it was amazing. And that was kind of like what really started it for me. But one big tip I have for people is some people wake up one morning and they do a whole new thing and that works for them. But I don't really think that's a way for it to stick. You know, I made a lot of small changes. You know, I started working with that trainer that was doing the group classes, and he was telling me, oh, you need to start doing this. You need to start tracking your food. You need to this. And I'm like, I'm not doing any of that. And he's like, you're not going to lose any weight. And I'm like, listen, you need to understand, I might be pretty young, but I have spent 20 years of my life not walking into a gym, not meal prepping, not tracking food. You think I'm going to wake up one day and I'm just going to be this new little fit baddie? I'm not. I'm not, honey. Like, so what I started is adding in more of the good. That Rachel Hollis, one of the things was drinking half your body weight in ounces of water. So I was having a minimum of, so if I'm 200 pounds, which I was a little under that, but if I'm 200 pounds, it's a minimum of 100 ounces of water I'm drinking every day. I was adding in more movement, adding in more fruits. And for the first 3 months, I didn't take anything out of my diet. Like if there was a brownie, if there was a whatever that I wanted, I would eat it. And even my trainer was like, you can't do that, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, listen, I am not going to wake up one day and just be this woman who doesn't do this, like based on the past, you know? And we even like as a little kid, like if your mom says you can't have that, you want whatever that thing is even more so. So by not telling my mindset, you can't have it, I was craving it less because if I wanted it, I could have it, but I wasn't restricted.
Yeah. So I'm going to go back and ask because I'm curious. What class was it? What class did you want to take?
It was a HIIT, a group HIIT workout, like the high interval classes, and they just like looked like they were having so much fun. And I was like, you got people laughing, you got people and they're moving, and I'm like, what the heck is that? I was like blown away, you know, and it just looked like this fun community type of vibe. Like I was also in a toxic relationship at the time, so I wasn't spending a lot of time with friends, and I was just like, I like the vibe of this. Like an easy way to meet people, you know. And I'm not necessarily a big promoter of the HIIT classes. I had never done a HIIT class before that a day in my life. I just liked, honestly, the community.
Yeah. You need people in a way. I did one class in my lifetime through a gym, which I have to go to the gym because of my cerebral palsy. My muscles will tighten up and it's just ridiculous. But I took a Zumba classes in the water. It was so much fun. Yeah. So I understand. Now, what or how did you get introduced to breathworks?
So, honestly, in a pretty interesting way, because
Okay.
now I'm one of those people that, like, I support my friends. Like, it does not matter what you're doing, what you're selling. Like, I make the joke within the breathwork community that, like, it could be pole dancing. Like, I'll try it once. If you're my friend and you, like, start teaching people to pole dance, I'll take a class with you once. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not that I have any interest in pole dancing whatsoever, but, like, I am that person that I'm like, "I'm gonna support you're randomly selling shirts for your business. I'll buy a shirt." Like,
Yeah.
I'm that person. Like, that is me. And I preface it with that because it's funny, a different podcast guest asked me and he was like, "Oh, were you looking, like, to relieve stress? Were you look" and I was like, "No." So here's the thing, like, I had a friend who was teaching this breathwork detox, and she had been saying to me for months, "Manders, you gotta try this." I'm like, "I will, Meg, I will." And honestly, I was thinking to myself, "Bro, I know how to breathe. You want me to do breath work, quote unquote, for an hour and a half? Like, that's a long time. Like, come on now." And it was funny because I remember doing outdoor yoga in October, and she was like, "Manders, come on, you got to try this breath work, especially if you like yoga." I'm like, I will." And honestly, I was gonna do it eventually regardless because I was good friends with this woman who was facilitating it. And it just so happened that the anniversary of my grandma's passing rolled around and I didn't have plans. I didn't have anything to do. And I was like, damn, I don't want to sit home alone. Like, I don't want to celebrate this, but like, what can I do? And then I saw that she happened to be hosting an event on the anniversary of my grandma's passing, and I was like, "Okay, I can do breath work for like I don't wanna sit home, like, and wallow in my pity. I guess I'll go breathe."
Yeah.
And my whole world shifted after one session, and
Mhm.
it it was so funny because I went back a week later because she happened to be hosting another session a week following, and I went back a week later, and I was like, this shifted so much for me. Like, I felt
Mhm.
like I shifted my grief to gratitude is the simplest way to
Mhm.
put it.
I love that. I
Yeah.
love that. I know that you're in Massachusetts, but is there any way people around the world can take your breathworks class?
Yeah, absolutely. So I do it virtual as well as in person. I
Okay.
do one-on-ones virtual. I do group classes virtually. I also the last Monday of every month I host something called Mindful Mindset Mondays. It's a pay what you can hour-long virtual breathwork session and I send out the recording link to that so even if you can't make it, I send out the recording link and you can do it on your own time. And that's kind of a nice way for people to get a little bit of a taste of breathwork detox specifically.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, I am promising you, and all my guests, um, that I will be attending one class, and like, I'll work with you in your schedule, and I'll let everybody know what class I'm taking. Now, when you do it virtually, do you see the other members, or what do you see on your screen? Do we just
So
see you? Go ahead.
so it did I have the Zoom set up at the start where like if people have their cameras on, you can see each other. What
Hmm.
they because I do a little bit of talking, not a lot, but a little bit of talking, almost like I call it a mini podcast before we get into like the actual breath work, where I am
Yeah.
just talking about some sort of mindset thing related to it. Like, people sometimes leave their cameras on. A lot of times people leave them off. I like to see the cameras on just so I can connect with people a little bit, see who I have actually with me. But a lot of people usually turn them off while they're breathing. But
Mm-hmm.
it's up to the individual, whatever anybody's comfortable
Okay.
with.
So I know we're in the middle of the month. When is your next Monday class? The end of the month, you pay what you can. Do you have one scheduled?
Yes, it's August 25th, right before my
Okay,
birthday.
Mark. Okay, well, mark your calendars. August 25th. I will link information on the bottom of this podcast, and we'll celebrate your birthday with you. I love that. Um,
You.
yeah. And I just admire you being such young, and just like the importance of taking care of yourself. You don't know, you never know who needs to hear what you have to share. And I thank you so much for your willingness to share your journey. And I appreciate you helping me. I don't know if anyone else knows this, but Amanda is the one that taught me how to do interviews on podcasting. I was like, okay, so thank you for that. And thank you for just having an open heart and allowing yourself to just be. Um,
Hmm.
so thank you so much. Is there any last words that you want to close with? Like
Oh,
if
well,
you could,
thank you so much, Blair.
you're welcome.
If I could, what were you gonna say? If I could, I
Okay,
want to know what you're.
if you could tell the world one thing, what would you say?
Everything is figure outable.
Mm, I
And I
love
think that ties in. I think that ties into your podcast, your name, your message, your theme. That's actually a book by a famous woman. I did not come up with the phrase, but people are starting to think I have because I say it so much. But
you.
everything truly is figure outable. Like, you might not love the solution or the situation, but it's figure outable. You have figured out everything leading up until now that you thought you wouldn't figure out.
I,
You'll figure out whatever this is too.
I love that. And I look forward to your class August 25th. What time is it?
5 p.m. Eastern.
5 p.m. Eastern. Mark your calendars and I will be sending out links. Thank you for being you. And always remember you have a purpose, you have a place. Just keep thriving and always remember to be adaptable.
Thanks for tuning in to the Adaptable Octopus. If you enjoyed the conversation, don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can listen on your favorite podcast platform, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere else you love to stream. And if you have a moment, leave a review or share the podcast with someone who might enjoy it too. Your support means the world and helps grow this amazing community. Until next time, keep adapting, keep thriving, and take care.